I'm Scotty. You're not. With Saturday Night Live celebrating 50 years this Saturday, from what I am, or this Sunday, excuse me, from what I am recording this, uh, I I thought it was weird with the 40th, and I still think it's weird now that Saturday Night Live is doing a anniversary special on a Sunday. They did it with the 40th. They're doing it now. It still doesn't make any sense to me. The show known for being on Saturday nights, we'll do it on Sunday. Anyway, with it celebrating 50 years, I thought I would take a look at a couple of SNL movies that I have yet to take a look at. No, this is not the long-awaited Wayne's World 2 review. That'll be later this year. But there are two other movies that I own. I was trying, like, I knew it was coming up. Last year I was trying to see if I can get the... You don't know how expensive it is to get It's Pat and Stuart Saves His Family. I'm sorry. I'm not paying that much for those two abysmal movies. Separately, I may add. They're over $10 a piece. Both. Separately. Each. Now, I could have gotten Superstar. I could have gotten The Latest Man. But I didn't. Because, I don't know. But I covered Night at the Roxbury last year. You know, for 500 subscribers, I'm getting close to 700 and still haven't done what I was going to do for 600. It's coming. It's coming, I promise. That's what she said. So, I decided I'm going to do the only two movies I have in my possession, not Wayne's World 2. That'll be for something later this year. But, so we're starting with Coneheads, which came out in 1993 and was the third ever SNL movie. You know, they did Blues Brothers back in 1980 and did nothing till 1992 when they released Wayne's World, and that was a hit. So they said, okay, we need to start making our sketches into movies. So let's do a sketch not from what we're currently doing, but go all the way back to 1976 and do Coneheads, because that makes sense. And I did notice a pattern with this, right? So they did the Blues Brothers, they did they did the Blues Brothers, it was a moderate success. They did Wayne's World, and it was a big hit. So now we did Coneheads. That did not do as well. In fact, it bombed. So then what do? We return back to the well. We do Wayne's World 2, and that was pretty good. So now we release It's Pat and Stuart Saves His Family, and those shit the bed. So now what do? We try to bring it back with Blues Brothers 2000, because Blues Brothers was good, right? But one of those guys has passed it away. So when I liked the movie, it did not do so good. So then what? You had this current cast in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were giving us stuff. So that's where we get Night at the Roxbury, The Latest Man, and Superstar. Those did alright, but not what they wanted, so they stopped. That is, until MacGruber came out in 2010, 8, 10, 10, 10. The hell did you come out? 10. 2010. They didn't make any more. That tells you how these work. These peaked with Wayne's World. Well, Wayne's World 2 is decent too, but you know, I didn't mind Night at the Roxbury, but it proves that when you try to stretch a sketch out to feature film, it doesn't always work. Wayne's World worked because you had a solid plot. Then you have Night at the Roxbury, where the plot of the sketch is they go around trying to get into clubs. You only do so much with that, so let's throw Will Ferrell's character into a arranged marriage, because and we gotta break them up before that happens. I don't know about any of the other ones, really, because I didn't watch The Lazy Man. I haven't watched... I probably watched like 5 minutes of The Lazy Man when it was on Flicks one time. I haven't watched Superstar because I honestly don't care for that character on the show, so why would I try to, you know. I've seen MacGruber. We'll talk about that when I get to it. And I have not seen It's Pat or Stuart Saves His Family, thank the Lord. I don't know. If it ever goes to a free streaming service, I'll check those out. But I'm not paying money to watch either of those. I was never a fan of the Pat sketches. They're always kind of weird to me. And the Stewart stuff, that was fine, but did it need its own movie? Out of all, what other sketches could you have done movies on? One I always contend with, Matt Foley. Come on. Give Chris Farley an SNL movies, Matt Foley. You know, you could do a plot where he's a self-help person. He lives in a van down by the river, and he's got a gotta go on a self-helping tour or something. Pair David Spade with him, you know. Maybe he's not bringing in the numbers they want to, so they pair David Spade with him to help him with that. They get numbers, or he's gonna get fired. He's gotta, there's gonna be a big seminar. He's gonna get big numbers for the seminar. He's fired, so they're going on a tour in the van to rally. It's kind of like Black Sheep, but not really. Anyway, I've spent 6 minutes talking about anything but this movie. Coneheads. I saw it on cable. I did. They played this on Comedy Central a lot and TBS. And in the 90s, they played it quite a bit, but it's sort of, it's not, so in the show, it was, of course, set in the 70s. This makes it firmly in the 90s, but I think they landed in the 70s when it starts. They land in the late 70s, and as it progresses, we get to the 90s. So I think like 1976 maybe, and then it progresses. That didn't really age, but as you think about it, 1993. If Connie is really supposed to be 16, and I do not believe that Chris Farley is supposed to be a teenager because he's drinking beer. I don't know. But then they do mention that something about college for Connie. Like she's in college, maybe? I don't know. But in the original sketch, Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin played the mom and dad, husband and wife. Beldar and Primat Conehead. And their daughter, Connie, was played by Lorraine Newman. Well, in the movie, can't really do that, although that would be also weird because Lorraine Newman is older than Chris Farley. So they brought in a new actress to do it, although Lorraine Newman does have a cameo. Besides Aykroyd and Curtin, there are many cameos from many SNL actors, including Michael McKean, who I just learned was actually a cast member. I always thought he was a host, but no. Michael McKean, David Spade, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Adam Sandler, Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris, Kevin Nealon, John Hooks, Julia Sweeney, Timmy Meadows, and John Lovitz. Yes. Here's a question. Which dentist would you rather sit through? John Lovitz from this movie or Steve Martin from Little Shop of Horrors? Think about that. So the plot is that these two aliens from Remulac, I think is what it's called, they crash land on Earth. No way back. They ask for assistance. They say it's going to take 20 years. So if it's 20 years, then I would say this is 1973 then. Would make sense. If they finally get picked up in 1993, then or we could say 72, 92, whatever. So they have to stay on Earth. It's interesting. I didn't think it was like this, but it's like that stay on Earth. He's got a job as like an auto mechanic or something, and then he gets a fake name. But the joke here is that Adam Sandler gives that same name to everyone that he sets up. So the INS is going through many people with that name. And the INS, the bad guys of the movie, Michael McKean and David Spade. Michael McKean is always great as a bad guy in a movie. Watch the Brady Bunch for that. He's very good. But yeah. And they're basically trying to track down the Coneheads throughout this movie. Because they think they're illegal aliens, but in the sense of foreigners, not, So they're trying to track them down, and it takes them the whole 20 years, basically. Eventually, Primat gets pregnant, and she gives birth to little baby Connie, and then Connie would technically be able to stay, although she's not an adult, so you probably have to go, because she's born on Earth. That's how it is, right? If you're born here, you're an American citizen. She's an American citizen. Although, I don't think she'd have the correct paperwork, or even maybe legal paperwork. I don't know how it works. But, yeah. She meets Ronnie, who's played by Chris Farley. That's Chris Farley. 93 Chris Farley, so he wasn't too far gone yet. I would say by 95 was when the drugs were really hitting him. You know, you see a difference. Early Chris Farley on SNL is really well done, but you can tell where the cocaine started to really hit him, and it gets very, like, everyone loves the Chippendale sketch, but it's clear there was an influence there. You know, yeah. Yeah. So it's basically the first half of this is like them living their mundane lives and everything. And Beldar is a very good golfer with Jason Alexander, who, did you know he's wearing a hairpiece? Because I couldn't tell. Yes, I could. He even points out, this isn't real. Could you tell this is real? He goes, not from space. Which is pretty... not from orbit, or whatever he said. But it's obviously a hairpiece. I even thought that was actually his full hair in The Burning. I think that was also a hairpiece they had him wear. But yeah, and we got to know that Beldar is good at golf, because that comes in handy later. But yeah, and also Ronnie is a bit of a horn dog and gets in trouble with Beldar, who rips the top off of his car. It's not a convertible. It's supposed to be a metal top, but it comes off like it's cardboard. 90s effects, But lo and behold, we are having a costume party. So that we see throughout this at the beginning that the INS is trying to catch up with them. Every time they do, they move and they change their name to everything to another Conehead, whatever. And sorry. I got sensitive skin and it itches. Especially in the winter, it gets dry, No, it's not those either. I tell you if it was. My skin is sensitive, it's all bugging me right now. Yes, I did just look, but no. So, now I got an itch back here. It's messing with my head. So, now my butt itches. Hold on. So, they have a costume party, which is also maybe a part of Connie's school, but I don't know because she takes Ronnie, and that's also where Beldar gets an award for golf because he's good at golf. But during this costume, he's dressed as Abraham Lincoln, and Primat is a tube of lipstick, and Connie is a princess. But they all have stuff on their cones, so it's hard for them to tell if they're the Coneheads. Although they don't act human except for Connie, so also, okay, I want to talk about how the Coneheads have sex. So we know that the cone rubbing, they give kisses, they rub the cone, but like Connie, I forget about what the age is. I don't know anymore. Wants to do it with Ronnie. She has the cone. It's like like if you play like throw the hoop on the cone or something like that. She puts that on like this. Okay, that's for like I think 2 Coneheads do that. How is Ronnie supposed to do it? He's supposed to put it over his. How does that work? I don't know how to, But the INS guys show up, and they're like, "Oh, we're Jehovah's Witnesses." That's a timely reference. I would ask you about how your life is and the things you have, and the end of the world is going to happen in a certain way, this, and that. And they're like, oh, yes, we do believe that. So they talk. They can't prove it's them, but then they get a message from Remulac saying, oh, we can bring you back now. And so they tell Connie that they're going to have to go, but she wants to stay with Ronnie, which legally she could be able to stay. I don't know if she's of age. I don't know anymore her age. But she's an American citizen. She could be allowed to stay. She was born there. All right? But they have to take her with, you know. So, yeah. And, well, Michael McKean and David Spade also hitch a ride on this spaceship. They grab on, like, Michael McKean grabs onto it, and then David Spade grabs him, so they all go into space. And, so we meet the head Conehead alien, played by Dave Thomas, who wants to know all about, you know, Beldar's, what has happened. And he presents them with chewing gum, which is a pink condom. He gives them the two humans as present. But the guy finds out that Beldar was not trying to dominate Earth, to conquer Earth, so to speak. So he punishes him by making him face this giant stop-motion beast. And like I said, I'll always say this: stop motion will never look bad to me, and that's because it's a part of an era in time where that's all you had. It's always going to look the same. Well, CGI can look bad and everything, but to me, stop motion will always look the same. Even if it is like very old stuff, it's not going to be the greatest looking, but it'll look fine to me. And it's not bad stop motion in this. So, yeah. But Beldar is able to save the day, defeat the creature by using his golf skills to hit a rock into the creature's mouth, causing him to die. Takes a little bit too long to die. Because he did that, he defeated him. They allow him to go back to Earth. I want to go back to Earth, and I will conquer it. And I want both of the Earthlings. No, you get one Earthling. Fine, I want the one with the most prominence, like with the better job. And Michael McKean's like, it's me. So David Spade gets left behind because the assistant of Dave Thomas's alien guy. And then they go back to Earth, and Beldar makes it look like Earth has this impenetrable defense system, and blows up his own ship to make it look like that they died, and then all the Remulacians leave. So now they're able to stay on Earth, and Connie can be with Ronnie, and yeah, everything is happy. I do want to point out a few things about that, the eccentricities about the Coneheads before I get to my rating. They sleep standing up in a bed, but they sleep standing up. I wouldn't be able to do that. Smoking a whole pack of cigarettes that Beldar does when he's smoking. He takes a whole pack, but you could tell it's fake because you could see that, like, it's lighting up like it's a not like it's a cherry on a cigarette, but like it's like a light, like it's like a electronic light that goes in and out, not like the cherry on a cigarette. So no, I don't know if they do it here, but they're like a whole thing of eggs and bacon. I've seen it in a sketch at least. That is dry skin. I can see it right there. The chewing with the condom, the drivers thing. There is a scene with him and Jan Hooks where she comes on him and he's like, no, I have a life mate, or something like that. Improper, you know. But like Primat later like can smell him on her or something. Like she can tell, and she seduces him by getting him drunk with a giant freaking margarita or something. I believe he was trying to seduce me, Mrs. Conehead. But yeah, I don't know what else to think about it. David Spade's character is a brown noser, like complete brown noser. Like there's one point when guy's like, hey, I found something. And he showed the box. He goes, you better let me do it. And, just in case. Hey, I found this. He takes the guy's credit for what the guy found. Brown noser. Complete brown noser. And he even does that with Dave Thomas's character later. He's like, you better leave him alone. I can do this. Like, that's why he's saying, like, better leave him alone. Bye. What did you not understand? The but or the bye? Here, let me say it again. Bye. Bye. I did watch one of those sketches recently, and I do think they did go on a little too long. It does get a bit annoying, a bit grating, but it's fine. Overall, I would give this a high middle of the road. It's nothing huge. I don't see this being any better, but it's in the middle of these for me. Right now, Wayne's World is still the best. Well, Blues Brothers is the best, followed by Wayne's World, and then this. Those are the top three. Coneheads, Wayne's World, Blues Brothers. I'll put Blues Brothers 2000 under this, and Night at the Roxbury are the ones that I've seen. And yes, I have seen this. And yes, I'm still counting it. We'll talk about that in the next one of these I do. So, what are your thoughts on Coneheads? Don't comment so much, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.